At least we get an extra hour of sleep, y'all, this weekend. Good Friday morning, taking a live look at Denver this morning. Traffic moving along just fine there on I-25, and today we're going to be warming up so much different than last week, and it's looking really nice. Thanks for joining us. Corey, Erica, Brianna, and Ed with you today.
Unpopular opinion, I think with our schedule, it's kind of nice that it gets darker earlier because we're ready for bed at 5 o'clock.
You're right. But this is the time when I like it because you get that extra hour. In spring, I hate it and say get rid of it. But now it's like, okay, I get an extra hour, that'll work.
And people getting that extra hour of sleep are going to have a gorgeous weekend.
Boy, they really are. That extra hour is going to be put to good use. Let's take a look at what we've got going on right now. And look at how mild these temperatures are at this hour. 50 degrees. Normal high for this time of year is 58. We're already at 50 degrees over the eastern plains. Look at 51 in Colorado Springs, 50 in Springfield. So that's what we'll see today. Partly cloudy skies getting to 68 degrees today. Then for tomorrow, 66 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Sunday, we're at 72 and then 67 on Monday, 65 on Tuesday. Then our next system comes our way. This one brings cooler air and a chance for rain showers. Wednesday's high just 52.
Thank you, Ed. And right now we are starting with a crash. First crash of the morning, Friday morning. Right now we're taking a live look of westbound and eastbound lanes right along I-70 and Ward Road. You can see we do have police officers on scene and the left lane is blocked off right now. So I do want to give you a better idea of where this crash is happening. You can see this is all eastbound lanes if you're heading down I-70. So between Ward Road and Kipling Street, that's where you're going to see those construction crews as well as police on scene because of that crash that happened earlier this morning. The left lane again is blocked off for that morning drive. Now, if you're heading down to Commerce City, it's looking still pretty good. I-76, 10-minute drive, those speed temps coming in at 73 miles per hour.
Brianna, thank you. Today, the case against the first Aurora police officers to stop Elijah McClain could go to the jury. Nathan Woodyard went from stopping McClain to grabbing him within 8 seconds that night in 2019. McClain wasn't doing anything wrong, but a 911 caller said he seemed sketchy. Woodyard's attorneys blame McClain's death on the paramedics who sedated him. Yesterday, an ER doc told the jury those paramedics did nothing to check on McClain's condition before they gave him ketamine.
It appears that they've made a decision to do a treatment, regardless of what it is, without doing any kind of assessment. So they don't have any of the information that they would need to properly diagnose the individual, the patient, with a working diagnosis.
Woodyard's defense rested yesterday afternoon. Closing arguments are set for today. Then the jury will start deliberating.
The National Transportation Safety Board released its preliminary report about last month's deadly train derailment near Pueblo. You probably remember when the interstate was shut down there. It determined the train derailed due to a broken rail near a bridge over I-25. The derailed train cars hit the bridge, causing 6 cars to fall onto the highway. One or more of them hit a semi-truck driving underneath the bridge, killing the driver, LaFollette Henderson. The maximum speed authorized in that area is 45 miles per hour. The report says the train was going 32. 2 crew members were on board of the train. Neither were injured. Right now, this investigation is still ongoing.
Denver is backtracking on plans for 2 micro-communities for people living on the streets after pushback from neighbors. Privately owned sites at I-25 in Yale and in the Golden Triangle are off the list of sites. Mayor Mike Johnston has said he wants to put a micro-community shelter in every council district, part of his goal to get 1,000 people off the streets by the end of the year. We now know his office took 2 proposed locations off the list. Council members for these areas said the decision came after pushback from neighbors. Council member Chris Hines says the Bannock site also had a sinkhole. So far, Denver has moved 200 people off the streets and into shelters.
Adams County elections workers will go out to collect ballots in the spot where a ballot box was leveled in a hit and run. Workers say they were doing routine reviews of their security cameras. They noticed that ballot box you see right there at Colfax and Kingston in Aurora. It gets hit by that truck that you're looking at. That dump truck knocks over the ballot box. We're going to see it here in a moment. There you go. And then it's leaning over. You see the guys get out of the car. They kind of try to pull it up, but they can't. It's anchored in concrete. Adams County election officials say the box itself and the dozen or so ballots inside are fine, but it's too late to re-cement that box into the foundation, so it had to be removed. Now, that box was actually in a pretty busy neighborhood, right across from a church pastored by Aurora City Council candidate Dr. Thomas Mays. That ballot box was also going to be an endpoint of a march to the polls this weekend. Democratic Adams County Clerk Josh Seigelbaum says that election workers will be on site collecting those ballots in person instead.
In today's day and age, when anything ever happens with elections, the first thing people's minds go to is, was this something nefarious? Is this part of a conspiracy? In this case, it's very clear from watching the videos that it was truly a construction accident. We've come up with an alternative to ensure that we still have folks out there to give voters access.
And you can find more Dropbox or in-person voting locations on govotecolorado.gov.
The legal team fighting to keep Donald Trump on Colorado's ballot called Republican Congressman Ken Buck to the stand yesterday, one day after Buck said he wouldn't run for re-election because he was tired of Trump's election lies. 6 voters sued to try and kick the former president off the ballot, claiming he is not eligible because he incited the insurrection at the Capitol. Prominent conservatives in Colorado have turned on Buck, saying he's not supportive enough of Trump. Then Buck was heard telling a judge what happened on January 6 was terrible, but it wasn't the former president's fault. He criticized the findings of Congress's January 6 report, which is key to the voters' case.
It was like going into a courtroom as a prosecutor and not having a defense counsel or defendant. I think in order to be able to judge someone's culpability, you've got to be able to hear both sides of the story. And in this case, there was not another side.
Buck's testimony was limited to his experience on January 6 and his thoughts on the January 6 committee report, which means there wasn't an opportunity to hear him explain under oath his seemingly contradictory positions on the damage of election denialism. When Buck was asked that question, the Trump team objected.
A jury has found the so-called crypto king Sam Bankman-Fried guilty of fraud charges. The 31-year-old founded the now bankrupt FTX cryptocurrency exchange. Bankman-Fried has been in jail since August when a judge decided he tried to influence witnesses. In a months-long trial, prosecutors argued he cheated customers and investors out of at least $10 billion. The jury only deliberated for half a day and found him guilty on all 7 charges, including wire fraud and multiple conspiracy counts. Bankman-Fried is scheduled to be sentenced in March.
The actors union and studios could reach a deal soon. Actors have been on strike since July, and the union and studios have finally started to make some progress in their negotiations. They could be close to a deal now. The union has been fighting for better residual pay and protections from artificial intelligence.
Another discussion in Hollywood right now, whether to allow intermissions during long movies in the theaters. Killers of the Flower Moon just came out. It clocks in at almost 3.5 hours. Since it's so long, some theaters have opted to add an intermission. According to Deadline, theaters had to change course because the intermission violated the theater's licenses with the studio. Some say intermissions are great because it allows people to get up without missing anything. The studio says it is not how the movie was intended to be shown. I recently saw Oppenheimer in theaters, which was about that length. And it's really hard. I did stay in, but you know, if you're having soda and you're maybe even having a cocktail, some of the theaters have those, you gotta go.
Well, I know that they're saying this is not how the movie's intended to be watched, but also, is it intended for someone to leave at their choice in the middle of a screening and miss something too?
So give them the opportunity, maybe.
It's a long time. 3.5 hours is a long time to sit there.
Yeah.